This is what we call Custer, looking around and seeing arrows. We'll keep you posted. Meanwhile, Mark Thiessen was the last President Bush's speechwriter and knows a thing or two about turning a good phrase. This guy's a master at it. But Mark will be the first to say it's one thing to put words on paper for a president. It's all up to the president to really deliver them. Will he tonight? Mark is the author of Courting Disaster, joins us right now. The president's very good with a phrase himself, Mark. What does he have to do tonight? I mean, if you were writing something for him tonight, what would you be stressing?
Well, first thing is he's got to have expectations low. I mean, as you pointed out in the last segment, it's been 2 months since this crisis happened. So an Oval Office address sets high expectations that you're going to have, so that you're going to turn public opinion around and move it. It's going to be very hard for him to do that because people see the oil still gushing. They've got that spill cam that shows the oil gushing, and so his rhetoric can't be divorced from that reality. I remember in the Bush administration before the surge, we wrote all sorts of speeches with the president on Iraq, and it didn't move numbers because people saw bombs going off in Baghdad until the surge turned situation around. And so as long as people see that oil spilling, gushing, and the pictures of the birds covered with oil, it's going to be very hard for him to move the numbers dramatically.
That's why I wonder the timing of this now, nearly 2 months after the fact. More of the effective presidential addresses, especially those from the Oval Office, as you would know far better, have been effective because they've been immediate. Like I said, Ronald Reagan right at the Challenger disaster, or certainly your old boss the night of 9/11. This is well after the fact, where we're reminded constantly of the fact that they do not have this under control. So if there's a Hail Mary phrase or a coin or a twist of a phrase, what would it be?
Well, the problem is there is no Hail Mary phrase if it's divorced from the reality. This guy is a brilliant speaker. He's got great speechwriters. He's going to have some nice phrases in there. But if it's divorced from the reality of what's happening on the ground, there's no phrase that can do it. I used to read, when I was in the administration, the war speeches of Lyndon Johnson. No one quotes them, even though they were brilliant and moving, because we lost in Vietnam. So he has to bring the situation around. What he has to do is show leadership. He needs to take control of the federal response. The reason he's doing this 2 months after the fact is because it's become a crisis for him. He didn't want to have to give this address, and so he needs to take control of this this situation and show that the federal response, that he's taking control of the federal response, and he's going to make life better for the people in the Gulf Coast. He's got to lay out do what President Bush did in the Jackson Square speech, which, by the way, was just much sooner after the crisis, and lay out specific benchmarks for the people of the Bench Coast. Here's my commitment to you. He's got to show leadership. We're going to get through this crisis.
Well, does he have to take blame for anything? Does he have to take responsibility or say, look, it was under my watch, or I'm in charge, or the Harry Truman, the buck stops with me? What?
I think it's very unlikely he will do that, but he should. He should take response. Listen, the federal response has been a disaster. That's why he's giving this response. Bobby Jindal yesterday said that after 56 days of waiting, he's going to deploy the National Guard to go build barriers to protect the Gulf Coast. Why didn't President Obama do something like that? There's been no urgency to the federal response, and so he's got to show some urgency. He's got to show that he is in charge. He's taking responsibility.